that is either a blue jay or a baby hawk, but I think it's a baby hawk, which is probably why I've been seeing that hawk around. She was just sitting there. She was in the barn yesterday. She was in the backyard the day before. And then over in the barn again the day before that. She just flew right in front of me. I'm coming out here to do my maple sap stuff. And she just flew from somewhere out there right in front of me over to the pigs. So I gotta look up, see what I can do about that hawk, because she's coming around here. There's a shortage of cats right now, and I'm afraid that she's after my birds, my chickens and my ducks. And he shooed that one chicken out of the duck pen the other day that had a bobblefoot, and he's gone. There's just a pile of feathers left. So I'm trying to work on this. Of course, it's thawed, and you can see I'm sinking in the mud. This was froze solid yesterday, and on the smaller trees, they thaw faster. There's less surface, so the sap's all running on those. When I'm tapping these bigger trees, some are running, some are not. You can see there's mostly shade here, so it'll take a little longer because it basically has to thaw through, and he's got all this snow piled up here, so it'll take longer to thaw, but it'll be moving. Running right as soon as I drill it. Beautiful. Couple light taps. Got my 5/8 inch tubing. These are the same taps that I used last year. These are the 5/16 Sapmeisters with a washer on it. The rolled ones that don't have it, you have to have a special tool to get them out of the tree. So you can see, like, this is where I tapped the tree last year. And if you look up in there, it's healing over. So that's doing real good. I'm using my 5-gallon buckets that I had picked up last year at Lowe's. And remember, they'll price match the Walmart price, so you can go buy one or two, whatever they have at Walmart, and then get a price match at the other stores, all the big box stores, Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot if they have them too. I haven't actually bought them there because they have the orange Homer buckets and they're not food grade. These are food grade, and they say food safe right on them, so you want to make sure you watch for that. The tubing is maple syrup tubing, and of course it's food grade. And you want to do sanitizing and bleaching for anything that you're reusing for the year. But these are my 2 far trees over here, and I used to all do the sap buckets, the galvanized sap buckets on these, and boy, the wind would just blow them all over this front yard. So this is the first year I'm tapping this little tree. There's a whole row. There used to be a house sitting here, was the first house, and on the other side of the driveway was the second house built on this property. And sometime before we bought the place, this little tree was planted. There was one here that had died, but we had that big ice storm years ago, so I conservatively tap these with 2 to 3 taps each. Some people would say do 4, but the biggest tree over there has 4, and these are our yard trees. You know, they're not out in the woods, so I don't want to kill them either. Cause more strain on them. And after they've had a year broken like that, a lot of times they say to defer tapping or just do minimal. So the canopy suffered a lot that year. These trees, 3 trees right here, are new this year. I actually had wanted to tap them the year before last. He said they were still too small. However, the books all say 12 to 18 inches, 1 tap. Bigger than 18 inches, 18 to 24, 2 taps. So I did a single tap on each of those. This tree was about 18 inches. So for his sake, I'm going to defer that one. But the biggest one down there was 20. Well, I got a heck of a laugh. I came out here to tap this tree, and I got part way down the driveway and I kept hearing something. Somebody got themselves all stuck here. The snow's melting, so there's just a little bit of dirt showing on the road. And they come around that corner down there at the end of the road. A little Ford Ranger pickup truck, and he totally lost it. You can see how bad he lost it here. He came all the way up here, and then a little Jeep Cherokee came and pulled him out. I never heard him go in because I was feeding the animals, but coming out here I thought, boy, we have more people losing it on this road because they had redone it, and you see it's real curved on top. So if you don't ride the center of the road, you can slip off pretty easy. But I said before, we're on the way to the school. This post right over here is where that other car went off the road in that Good Samaritan video, and he was coming from the other direction. So this guy, it was this morning after the husband went to work, because I would have heard about it. But surprisingly enough, that gate was open and they did not bother to come up here. And yeah, as you know, I'm not pulling anybody out anyway. I just thought that was funny to share. So total this year, just in the yard, I put in 30 taps, and that was doing like one less on a couple of the trees. I think I had maybe 34 in the past. And I'm doing the 5-gallon buckets now instead of the 3-gallon metal buckets, so that makes a difference. These trees right here behind me, we call them the twin trees, they produce a lot of sap, and I could easily do 3 or 4 taps on those. But they're pretty skinny little trees, and the one splits off up at the top quite a bit. I just figure there's no point in putting too much strain on it. There are a lot of maple syrup backyard producers that do a lot less taps than I do without selling any. So I'm satisfied with that. I've got plenty of buckets to be able to do out in the woods when the snow melts a little bit. But I'm going to go for a little walk. It's real slushy today. It's real hard to kind of walk through it. I have one tree in the backyard by the sandbox that the first 3 years I didn't bother, just because walking through the snow to go get that 5-gallon of sap was too much. I'm feeling a little more ambitious these days. And there's a section of the woods I may not do this year, but we actually have surplus left over from last year because I tapped so much, which is great. So if I want to take it easy a little bit this year, I can. So you can hear and see I've got snow melting off the roof, and it's gonna get quite muddy here tomorrow, so I'm gonna just try to do what I can now. We're gonna have a freeze tonight, so the buckets will all be full of sap tomorrow, so we'll take a look. I decided to go for a little walk and share this with you. I love our creek. It zigzags all through here. This is an area that we have brush cut before, and I have a lot of elderberry bushes growing through here. This right here is an elderberry bush, and there's some down here, but they kind of get carried, the seeds, the berries, and they replant themselves along the edge of the bank. But I've got quite a area here along the creek filled full of lots and lots of elderberries. Great for homemade vitamin C, zinc boost. I do that. So here's where I got the Dodge stuck. This is why I came down here. I had just missed, before I turned the camera on, a sandhill crane flew over. And that crane, oh, there's a bunch of deer. I just scared them up. They like to bed down in this area. I gotta get this thing out and up in the snow. And under this pile of snow are some cement blocks. I've got a few more over there. I thought, if I wait to get this out of here until tomorrow, it'll just be froze. So, no harm, no foul, it'll dry out. I've got a few maples over in this area here that I may be able to tap. The problem with doing is that I have to do sap lines from that side of the creek to this side of the creek with a container down here for it to work. Unless you make a sap ladder to make it go uphill, which is more complicated than what I'm ready for right now. The tractor will go down here, but whew, I got them marked anyway. The straw bales held. I want to make sure that there's no snow built up. It's going to be warm again tomorrow in the 40s. So if the bees need to make another cleansing flight, it'll be real good and healthy for them to get out. But walking through this snow where it hasn't melted much, it's still quite deep. It's about halfway up my shin. So walking out here in that, whew, some areas have been harder than others. This is why we always have tanks. He's got a collection here of old ones that have been dug out, and we just keep them on hand for loners. So I'm gonna go over here and check on the bees. I'm sure nothing's going on. It's cooled off already for today. I've got stands set up with more cement blocks, so if I need to take these blocks, I can. I got a email from my bee supplier about spring nukes. Yeah, see, I don't have any snow built up, but if I just wipe off that melted snow on top, it'll help warm them up earlier tomorrow, so I'm gonna do that.